Hello from Texas. It's very, very hot here. It's 108 degrees. I can't even go outside. I wanted to go out and water my plants and things, but listen, you can see those heat currents coming up. I mean, it's like waves of hot heat. But it's hot everywhere, I guess. I mean, we're at the end of June, come up on July the 1st. And hello to all of my subscribers. I love all you people. Listen, I've been reading your comments. I've got so many of them. Listen, I appreciate you people in Malaysia. I've never been to Malaysia, and I was reading your comments today. And of course, hello to Art. They're in Sydney, Australia. He's my very good friend. Art's 89 years old. Pray for him, for his health. I want to keep Art around. He's a very good friend of mine. And I just love the daylights out of him. He'll talk your ears off. He's kind of like me. I wanted to talk to you about the way things used to be. Do you remember when you could buy a chicken stick for a nickel? A lot of people, these kids nowadays, don't even know what a chicken stick is. But we do. I used to buy Coca-Cola for a nickel. And I remember the vending machines when they came out with a 6-cent Coca-Cola. They had all kinds of problems. Why did they have problems? The penny. They had a nickel and a penny slot. Well, the nickel took fine, but the penny didn't work. So Coca-Cola, they got with everybody and they changed everything and they raised it to a dime instead of 6 cents. Well, you say, well, that's not very much money. Well, back then, to poor boy, that was a lot of money. And me and my brother, we would go out and we would gather Coke bottles. And this is how we got our Cokes back in the 50s. And we did different things, mowed yards, cleaned out garages, whatever we could do to make money, back then. I'm sure you did the same. I remember when the postage stamps went from 3 cents to 4 cents. And this was in 1954 or 55, I think. Might have been 55. And we didn't like it. And gasoline, it went from 9 cents a gallon to 11 cents a gallon. We didn't like that either. Boy, for those good old days, huh? I sure would like the Lord to allow us to time travel and go back there, wouldn't you? But the way things used to be. Used to, friend, when you had a friend, you had a friend. Do you remember some of the bullies at school that you were scared to death of? And when it finally came your time, when they cornered you, and then you beat your way out of it, everybody shook hands, and guess what? You had a friend. You've got a friend. That's the way it was back then. It's not that way nowadays at all, is it, my friends? And I remember my dad, we used to go fishing together, and he'd take me hunting, and we just, listen, we had a wonderful time. And me and my brother, we were always doing things. We were always going crawdad fishing, or we were climbing up in mulberry trees, and we'd eat so many mulberries, we'd get dizzy and fall out of the tree. We was a long way above the ground. And I remember that persimmon tree me and my brother got a hold of. Oh, listen, we was eating persimmons. They were so good. Till we got a hold of a green persimmon. Persimmons have what they call alum in them. And when we took a bite of those green persimmons, our mouths closed up. And we could barely open our mouth. And that lasted for about 2 days. We never done that again. And we ate a bunch of green pears one time. Me and my brother did. And we got so sick from eating green pears, friends. We were sick. So we didn't eat green pears anymore. They were good, you know, with sea salt on. But we didn't do that anymore. The way things used to be. How a friend was a friend. Do you remember Roy Rogers, Dale Evans, and old Jingles? That Jeep and that little doggy that ran with him? Do you remember Howdy Doody? You remember Paladin? My favorite, Have Gun Will Travel. Steve McQueen, Josh Randall. He was my favorite. That's the guy that I really patterned my life after. If I have to say that anybody really influenced me, it was Josh Randall. And now he was a bounty hunter back in the 1800s. And Steve McQueen played the part of Josh Randall. And he did an excellent job. And he became extremely wealthy from that movie. We had a lot of fun. You remember Saturday Matinee? Do you remember that commercial where that man came on and said, "I want to sell you a car"? Do you remember that? I do. And you remember that commercial about Chunkies? Chunk, chunk, big chunk, open wide for Chunky. And what about Bit of Honeys? A bit of honey goes a long, long way. Yep, you remember that? And what about the Cracker Jack sailor that did the dance for the Cracker Jacks? Sung the Cracker Jack song. Cracker Jacks. And back then, you could get money, real money, in Cracker Jacks. The prizes were real. Nowadays, they're Chinese. They're cheap little tattoos that you lick and stick to your arm. And that's no good. That's no good. That's no good. So, you know, there's so many things. Do you remember the butternut candy bar? I literally love those things. And the Ike and Mike, they were gingerbread cookies. You got 2 in a pack for a nickel. And they were absolutely scrumptious. And of course, the chum gum. It had 2 pieces of gum in the pack. And it cost you 2 cents. And you had one for you and one for your friend. That's why they called it chum gum. And then, of course, beech nut, you know, the chewing gum. They had the licorice flavor. They had the clove flavor. Do you remember all those things? And, of course, the only gums you could get back then was Dentyne, or Double Mint, or Spearmint. Then they came out with Chiclets. That's the only gums you could get. Of course, they had Bazooka. You know, you paid a penny and you got 8 pieces of those bubble gums. And they were big. And they lasted a long time for a penny back then. This is in the 1950s. Oh, how times have changed. We miss the good old days. Hey, listen to Grandpa Hickory. Thank you for viewing my channel, and I'm asking you to hit the like button, and please subscribe to my channel. And hey, I'll see you on the next video. Y'all have a good day. Goodbye from extremely hot Texas. Praying come September. Let's get into October and bring November, and then shoot as quickly to January, and President Trump be in office in January. Hey, goodbye for now. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for stopping by.